Welcome to France, the land where croissants are flaky, cheese is more varied than your dating history, and wine flows as freely as the Seine. Picture this, you're strolling through the streets of Paris, a baguette under your arm like a true local, your sunglasses perched just right for a dramatic effect, and suddenly you're struck with an epiphany. I have no idea what I'm doing. But fear not, this guide is here to help you navigate France's fabulous chaos, from the Eiffel Tower's top to the lavender fields of Provence's bottom. Whether you're here for the culture, the food, or just here to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and pretend you're in a romance movie, we've got you covered. Let's face it, even if you get lost, you're still in France. And that's basically winning. Best times to visit. When should you visit France? Well, that depends on whether you want to look fabulous while fighting through tourist crowds, or get a more relaxed vibe where you can look fabulous without fighting through tourist crowds. Spring, from April to June. Think mild weather, flowers blooming, and the kind of days that make you feel like you're in a perfume commercial. The streets of Paris are filled with romance, or at least people pretending to be in love for Instagram photos, and the countryside is just begging you to wear a beret and take photos that say, "I'm artistic." Summer, from July to August. Ah, summer. The season when France turns into a sweaty but beautiful festival. Beaches in Nice and Biarritz are packed with sunseekers, and Paris is still Paris, but with more tourists than you'd like to share your croissant with. Autumn, from September to November. Cooler temperatures, fewer tourists, and a whole lot of fall foliage to make you feel like you're in a French drama. It's the perfect time to sip wine in Bordeaux, stroll through Paris in a chic scarf, and maybe pretend you're on a secret mission to save the world from a ridiculous villain. Winter, from December to February. Skiing in the French Alps? Check. Christmas markets? Check. Cozying up with a hot chocolate after an impromptu snowball fight with strangers? Double check. France in winter is like a giant, picturesque snow globe, and it might just make you think you're living in the pages of a holiday romance novel. Top destinations and attractions. Paris. Paris is where all the clichés come to life, and we love it for that. You can't come here without at least taking one photo with the Eiffel Tower, preferably while eating a croissant like you're in an ad. The Eiffel Tower offers spectacular views, or you could just lounge at its base and pretend you understand art while your croissant magically disappears. The Louvre? It's not just for the Mona Lisa, though let's be real, that smile still confuses us. It's full of things you'll look at and nod like you understand. Notre Dame Cathedral is gorgeous, even if it's still getting a makeover post-2019 fire. And don't even think about skipping Montmartre, where every cobbled street could be the backdrop to a dramatic film scene. Just add a beret, and you're all set. Provence. Provence is for when you want to feel like you've stepped into a painting but with better wine. In summer, the lavender fields are so stunning they might make you forget what time it is. If you find yourself wandering through Aix-en-Provence, do so while pretending you're a modern-day Cézanne. Your art is just a selfie with a painting. Avignon is charming, with its famous bridge and a history so rich you'll probably want to wear a crown and start making royal decrees. In short, Provence is perfect for those who want to sip rosé, avoid crowds, and pretend they're starring in a French art film. French Riviera. Want to feel like you've suddenly become part of a glamorous social circle? Welcome to the French Riviera. Nice with its pebbled beaches and La Vie en Rose vibe, is perfect for pretending you're a movie star being chased by paparazzi, who are, of course, fictional. Monaco will make you think you're in a Bond movie. Cannes? It's not just for the film festival, it's for shopping like you have an unlimited budget, and pretending you're going to that glamorous gala. And let's not forget about the fabulous Antibes and Saint-Tropez azure water and nightlife. The Riviera isn't just for relaxing, it's for doing it with style. Loire Valley. Ever wanted to feel like royalty? The Loire Valley is practically begging you to live out your Princess Diaries fantasy. With its sprawling vineyards, fairy tale-like castles, and picturesque villages, you'll wonder why you didn't inherit a chateau yourself. The Château de Chambord is so majestic, you'll need a moment to recover from its grandeur. And if you're feeling particularly noble, head over to Amboise, where Leonardo da Vinci is buried. Don't forget to send a mental thank you for all that Mona Lisa drama. Bonus, you can definitely wear a tiara here, no one will judge you. Normandy. Normandy is like the historical, scenic cousin of France. Mont Saint-Michel is an architectural masterpiece, so beautiful it might make you rethink your entire life. It's also surrounded by tidal waters that will give you major Game of Thrones vibes, just without the dragons. Normandy's D-Day beaches, they're not just sobering, they're deeply moving and a must-visit. Rouen, where Joan of Arc was martyred, will have you feeling like you're part of history, but in a way that doesn't require you to be burned at the stake. Bordeaux. If you're a fan of wine, Bordeaux should be your happy place. This is where you can feel like a refined sommelier while sipping wine that'll make your taste buds do the cha-cha. Whether you're touring vineyards, lounging at a wine museum, or just walking around the charming city, Bordeaux is perfect for pretending you're part of some sophisticated wine tasting club. Bonus points if you can pronounce Merlot correctly. Charming towns and villages. Colmar, in Alsace. Visiting Colmar is like stepping into a Disney movie that got drunk on mulled wine. The houses are so charmingly crooked and colorful, you'll think you've accidentally wandered onto the set of a gingerbread-themed sitcom. Locals stroll around like they've never heard of stress, and even the pigeons look like they've just come from a wine tasting. You'll spend half your time wondering if you should explore another quaint alleyway, or just adopt a cobblestone and move in. Warning: side effects of visiting Colmar include sudden urges to wear berets, speak in fake French accents, and take 347 photos of the same flower box. Annecy. Going to Annecy feels like someone photoshopped a dream village onto a lake and forgot to mention it's real. The water is so clear you'll question if you've accidentally walked into a screensaver, and the swans there are so majestic, they probably have better health insurance than you. You'll try to act cool, strolling past the pastel buildings and flower-covered bridges. But let's be honest, you'll be squealing inside like a tourist on espresso. Renting a paddle boat? Adorable. Crashing into 12 other paddle boats because steering is hard? Hilarious. Annecy is the kind of place where even getting lost feels like a scenic detour planned by a French fairy godmother. Saint-Paul-de-Vence is that impossibly artsy hilltop village where every stone looks like it was handpicked by Picasso's interior decorator. You arrive expecting a quiet stroll and end up in an existential crisis about whether your soul is bohemian enough to belong here. The art galleries outnumber the people, and even the pigeons seem to have a preferred medium. Pierre, the abstract poop artist, is so last season. You'll find yourself casually sipping overpriced espresso while pretending to understand a sculpture made entirely of bicycle chains and deep meaning. It's the only place where getting lost down a cobblestone alley feels like a curated experience, complete with ambient accordion music and a spontaneous encounter with a philosophical cat. Dinan is the kind of medieval town that looks like it was built by time-traveling hobbits with a flair for dramatic timber framing. Walking its steep, cobbled streets feels like entering a real-life Renaissance fair, minus the turkey legs, but with twice the charm and significantly more butter. The town is so old, even the buildings lean like they've been gossiping for 600 years. You'll try to act like you're here for the history, but really, you're just following your nose to the nearest creperie like a Breton butter-seeking missile. And when you finally make it to the top of the ramparts, breathtaking view, followed by the realization that now you have to walk back down those medieval stairs without looking like a baby deer on roller skates. Biarritz is where surfers, aristocrats, and seagulls with attitude all come to vibe in coastal harmony. It's got that weirdly perfect mix of old-school glamour and "dude, where's my wetsuit" energy. One minute you're admiring a grand 19th century casino, the next you're dodging flying surfboards and trying to look cool while eating a dripping Basque cake. The waves are so dramatic they deserve their own Netflix series, and the seagulls are basically local mafia. Don't make eye contact if you're holding a baguette. You'll stroll the seaside promenade pretending you live there now, casually Googling how to afford a villa with sea views and 12 croissants a day. Spoiler, you can't. But Biarritz makes you believe you could, which is basically the same thing. Corsica. Corsica is like France's rebellious, stunningly attractive cousin who lives on an island, hikes mountains before breakfast, and casually speaks 3 languages while grilling wild boar. It's got beaches that look like Windows desktop backgrounds, villages clinging to cliffs like they're afraid of commitment, and hiking trails that seem designed by a very fit goat with a sense of humor. The locals are fiercely proud and will happily welcome you, as long as you respect the rules, the land, and their grandmother's fig jam. You'll rent a car, thinking this will be relaxing, then find yourself driving up a mountain road so twisty, it feels like you're inside a baguette pretzel. But every view is so breathtaking, you'll forget you screamed through half the drive and just whisper, "Yeah, I could survive here on cheese and scenery." French food is like a warm hug for your stomach. From buttery croissants that make you feel like you're in the lap of luxury, to escargot, yes, snails, you're going to need to loosen your belt. But don't forget, cheese is practically a religion here. By the time you leave, you'll probably be able to identify 12 types of cheese, 5 ways to pronounce baguette, and maybe even argue about whether or not the French invented food. Spoiler, they did. Learning French is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube, frustrating but satisfying when you finally get it right. Don't worry if you can't manage more than bonjour and merci. The French appreciate the effort and will probably reward you with a smile or a raised eyebrow. The French don't dress up, they exist in elegant, effortless style. Think chic, well-tailored clothes and a casual vibe that somehow screams, "I have my life together." You won't catch a local wearing sweatpants, so bring your best fashion A-game, unless you want to be mistaken for a tourist, in which case, carry a baguette at all times. In France, etiquette is king. Greet everyone with a friendly bonjour before you even think about asking for directions. You wouldn't dream of doing anything less. Tipping is optional but appreciated, and if you're unsure what to order, just point to what the person next to you is eating. It's probably delicious, and no one will judge you for it. France is part of the Schengen area, so check your visa requirements before you go, especially if you're planning to try and smuggle all the wine back in your suitcase. Use the TGV high-speed trains, and trust us, you'll get places faster than you can say croissant. Remember to pack an adapter because those French plugs are as confusing as their love for fine wine. From luxury chateaux to cozy rural guest houses, France's accommodation options are as varied as the cheeses. Book in advance, especially during peak seasons, so you don't end up sleeping in an airport terminal or on the beach, unless you're really into that kind of thing. 7-day travel itinerary. Day 1, Paris. You've just landed in Paris and immediately you're thrust into the world of clichés. You check into your hotel, throw on a beret because obviously, and march straight to the Eiffel Tower. But wait, you have to stand in line for an eternity just to get to the top. And when you do finally reach the observation deck, the wind is so strong you question whether your hair will ever return to its natural state. But hey, it's all worth it for that iconic photo, right? Afterward, you'll saunter to the Louvre, squint at the Mona Lisa, because it's really small, and then find yourself in a cafe ordering a croissant, like you've discovered the meaning of life. You'll pretend to speak French, but really you're just reciting the few phrases you remember from that semester in high school. Day 2, Montmartre. Day 2 in Paris. You've now fully embraced your inner Parisian, and by inner Parisian we mean you've definitely got a coffee in one hand and a baguette in the other. You make your way to Montmartre, the artsy neighborhood where you can almost hear the Je t'aime echoing in the background. You wander through cobbled streets pretending you're in a French film, only to realize that this is in fact real life, and you're not actually famous. You'll pop into Sacré-Cœur Basilica for some views that are genuinely spectacular, but don't expect to be the only one there. Then enjoy a Seine River cruise where you'll learn that Paris looks even more romantic from a boat, as long as you don't get motion sickness. Day 3, Versailles. On day 3, you're hitting the royal jackpot by taking a day trip to the Palace of Versailles. You'll be walking through rooms that scream, "Yes, I have an entire palace for myself," while secretly hoping you can sneak a nap in one of the 700 rooms, not that you'd ever find it. You'll admire the gardens pretending you're part of the monarchy, and maybe even consider starting a Twitter account for your royal alter ego. By the end of the day, you'll be convinced you've earned a title and that it's probably time for a crown. But when the reality hits, it's 4 p.m. and you haven't eaten lunch, you'll ditch your royalty dreams and head back to Paris for a well-deserved nap. Day 4, Loire Valley. Day 4 brings you to the Loire Valley, where you'll begin your love affair with castles and wine. You'll visit Château de Chambord, which looks like it came straight out of a fairy tale, only less magic and more taxes. You'll try to understand the history behind the place but mostly marvel at how many stairs it has and your lack of leg strength. At Château de Chenonceau, you'll get a history lesson that involves the river, the royal family, and the occasional dramatic pause, because who doesn't love some good drama? Then, you'll settle into a vineyard, sip wine like you've just discovered the secret to life, and wonder aloud why you don't own a vineyard and a chateau. But really, who could afford that? Day 5. Provence. Day 5 is all about Provence, where lavender fields look like they've been painted just for your Instagram feed. You'll take endless photos of flowers, feeling like an influencer, even though the closest you'll get to fame is posting a picture of a slightly wilted lavender stalk. You'll stroll through Aix-en-Provence, sip espresso like you've just written a novel, and then head to Avignon for a quick tour of the Palais des Papes. You'll walk across the Pont Saint-Benazet, but forget trying to sing the song unless you're feeling very confident in your singing abilities. Provence will make you feel like you're living the dream. By the end of the day, you'll secretly plan your escape to this idyllic countryside, while Googling how much do lavender farmers make. Day 6, French Riviera. Welcome to the French Riviera, where everyone looks fabulous and you've never felt more unfabulous. Your first stop is Nice, where you'll lounge on pebbled beaches, until you realize pebbles are not the same as sand. After that, you'll take a glamorous walk down the Promenade des Anglais, dodging rollerbladers and pretending you're a part of a secret high society club. Then you'll head over to Monaco and try to sneak into Monte Carlo Casino to prove that, yes, you too could be a high roller. You'll realize that the entrance fee to a casino could buy you a week's worth of croissants. So you settle for a walk around the Prince's Palace, imagining what it must be like to live in a place with more gold than your childhood piggy bank. Day 7, back to Paris. It's your final day in France, and you have grand plans of hitting the Parisian shops, eating your weight in macarons, and picking up a few souvenirs that will end up collecting dust on your shelf back home. You'll visit all the touristy spots one last time, squeezing in that one last picture under the Eiffel Tower, even though you're pretty sure you've already taken 73 selfies with it. You'll bid farewell to the magic of Paris, possibly teary-eyed. Because let's face it, you've just spent a week pretending to be cooler than you actually are. But it's okay, because you'll have at least one person in your life who will listen to your extensive tales about how chic the Parisians are and how much you really belong in Provence. It's fine, they'll believe you, probably. And just like that, you're ready to conquer France. After a week of intense baguette consumption and obligatory je ne parle pas bien français moment, and a few too many attempts at saying bonjour without sounding like a total tourist, you'll realize something. You don't need to be perfect to fall in love with France. You'll leave the country with memories, a slight addiction to wine, and the belief that you too could become effortlessly stylish, though you may never quite figure out how to fold a scarf like the Parisians. But one thing is for sure, you'll never look at a croissant the same way again. And that, my friends, is the true French experience. So, take a deep breath, say bonjour, and go live your best French life. Because in the end, it's not about how many selfies you take, but how many croissants you eat. Bon voyage!